Breaking news tonight, a devastating tragedy is unfolding in Gaza, where 15 lives have been lost in a shocking and deeply troubling attack. Among the dead are paramedics, civil defense workers, and even a UN official, people who dedicated their lives to saving others. The Israeli military has admitted to targeting the vehicles, claiming they were advancing suspiciously, without headlights or emergency signals. But the UN tells a different story. Ambulances, a fire truck, and even a UN vehicle were struck one by one in what they describe as a horrifying sequence of events. The bodies of the victims, still in their uniforms, were later buried in a mass grave, marked only by the emergency light of one of the destroyed ambulances. This is not just another headline. This is a humanitarian crisis that demands the world's attention. International law is crystal clear: civilians and medical workers must be protected, even in times of war. Yet, here we are, witnessing the unthinkable. The UN's humanitarian agency has condemned the attack, calling it an absolute horror. In a video statement, the agency's head in Gaza said, "Healthcare workers should never be a target." And yet, they were. The U.S., Israel's closest ally and largest arms supplier, has called for all parties to respect international humanitarian law. But here's the question: will words be enough? The State Department has stopped short of confirming whether it will investigate these killings, even as the U.S. is bound by its own laws to ensure that its weapons are not used in violations of humanitarian law. This raises a critical issue: where is the accountability? Who will stand up for the innocent lives lost in this conflict? The situation in Gaza is dire. Since Israel renewed its air and ground campaign on March 18, over 1,000 people have been killed, according to Gaza's health ministry. And since the war began in October 2023, the death toll has surpassed 50,000. These are not just numbers. These are mothers, fathers, children, and healthcare workers, people with dreams, families, and futures that have been erased. The Israeli military says its actions are in response to an unprecedented attack by Hamas in October 2023, which killed 1,200 people and saw 251 taken hostage. But as the violence escalates, the line between defense and devastation becomes increasingly blurred. This is a moment for all of us to reflect. We cannot look away. We cannot stay silent. The world must demand accountability. Share this story. Talk about it. Pressure your leaders to act. The lives of innocent people depend on it. This is not just about Gaza or Israel, this is about humanity. If we allow the targeting of civilians and healthcare workers to go unchecked, what does that say about us as a global community? And let's not forget the bigger picture. This conflict is not new. It is rooted in decades of tension, violence, and failed negotiations. But the human cost we are seeing now is unprecedented. Entire families are being wiped out. Communities are being destroyed. And the people who are supposed to be protected under international law, medical workers, humanitarian staff, are being killed in the line of duty. This is not just a tragedy, it is a violation of the very principles that are meant to guide us in times of war. So, what can you do? You can start by staying informed. Don't let this story fade into the background. Share it with your friends, your family, your community. Write to your representatives. Demand that they take action. Whether it's calling for an independent investigation, pushing for a ceasefire, or providing humanitarian aid, every voice matters. Together, we can amplify the voices of those who can no longer speak for themselves. And as this conflict rages on, we must ask ourselves, how many more lives must be lost before the world says, enough is enough? How many more families must be torn apart before we demand real change? The time to act is now. Stay with us as we continue to follow this developing story. We will not stop reporting. We will not stop asking questions. And we will not stop demanding answers. Because the people of Gaza, and the world, deserve nothing less.